Man, Geats has been on a streak right now. This is the fourth episode in a row where I'm just like, give me more. Because, yes, there's more action in this episode, and I kind of like how the gradual build up to more action in the episodes. Like, especially when episodes continue right where the last one left off. So, they've done it in the past where the next episode, it's like they're all of a sudden somewhere talking. They're like, well, this is what happened. And then we get like, but this was like continuation. We basically pick up where we left off. Keiwa stabbing Buffa with that Bujin sword. I call it the bougie sword because that's just, that's how I say it. About the Bujin sword. And, Buffa grabs the sword. They continue to fight. It's not really a fight because the Kay was just beating that ass, like just beating him. And I like that, Lady Henshin, you think Kay was gonna kill Buffa, but Kay was like, nah, I'm not gonna kill you. I want to leave you alive to live with that guilt for killing my sister. And I'm like, ooh, we got petty, spiteful, and unhinged Keiwa, and I'm all for this. I'm okay with this 100%. 100%. Like, the fact that he's now captured Sumari, got her all tied up, and he calls her the goddess, and she says, like, she was only trying to help him, and Keiwa agrees. But he wants more. He's counting on more from her because he wants to make his ideal world a reality. And I do like that. Like, Keiwa's an antagonist right now, but he's not the main villain. Okay, this is just his arc that's gonna probably build up to his redemption, obviously, because it's Kamen Rider. Like, Jito shows up, and he even says, that Sumeri's powers has awakened more, and him and Kei will make a deal. He's like, listen, you can complete this process for the goddess, but only if first up you grant my wish. You know, give me my ideal world. You grant my wish, you can have her, whatever. And he even tells Superman, he's like, there's only one more left to go on my hit list. And I'm like, oh, he's got a hit list. I was like, let's go. And we get more of explanation for Daichi's, like, human tree. Because, he's convinced that these people that he's going to save them. And they're all like, and he just throws little baby Jamatos on them and they all turn into stage twos. And, Michinaga shows up, and I forgot that they haven't really seen each other since he basically destroyed Daichi when he was OP Buffa, and Daichi he explains how he got this whole idea from his time during the JGP when he was hanging around the Jamato farm, and he says Jamato inherit the memories of the human fertilizer, so that's why he has a tree and he's eating tomatoes, and I love, like, the Michinaga stuff right now is kind of not pertinent to, like, the main story right now of what we're driving for a narrative, but I do like these little subtle jabs that keep getting taken at him. Like Daiichi even says, he taunts him about how he killed Sarah. And he's like, hey, do you want to know what her final thoughts were since he has all her memories? Because we see this whole thing. Daichi's looking at the tree. Obviously, Sarah's face is on it. And he's like, oh, your memories are ripe. And he takes a tomato and eats it because, that's his, what he calls it, his tree of knowledge. And I'm like, okay, like, all right. And I guess, because he's fertilizing it, the fruit has their memories. And, we see this whole thing where he eats it and he gets flashes of all her memories and this and that. And I'm like, okay. But I like that, Michinaga's kind of in this limbo right now of a character. Because we just had the whole arc where he was like OP, Buffa, like, destroying all the riders. Now it's like, I don't know. He's kind of in an awkward place from a story standpoint. For me personally, I like Michinaga. I like Keiwa. They're two of my favorite characters in this show. But this is more of, not unnecessary, but I feel like this whole part was to, one, explain Daichi's not tree of knowledge, but also for us to get Kakura Baroba with their premium forms, because that's what they do. They show up and they said they can't have, Michinaga interfering, And we see their new forms, and their forms are nice. They're growing on me. I didn't like them at first, but I do like that they're literally called Premium Baroba and Premium Kakura because we just, ironically enough, got a premium Bandai announcement for the Razor Riser. Raise Riser. Raise Riser. And I thought that was irony. Like, so ironic. And the suits are gonna grow on me. Especially, I like Kakura's more than Baroba's right now because I like the green on it. But it's a 2v1 fight. Like Buffa, just they have the upper hand the whole entire time. But there's something that happens that annoys me once again because when Michinaga and Keiwa rejoin Ace's DGP, they get their drivers. He gives Buffa the zombie buckle. Gives Keiwa the ninja buckle. Keiwa was begging Sumari for some better buckles, and she didn't have any. But for some odd reason, Buffa has the twin command buckle. What? Even Baroba says, "Oh, you've been keeping that in your back pocket," and I'm like, "How? How?" And I'm like, you know what? If you go back on all my reviews for quite some time now, I have been questioning the buckle inventory and what the hell is going on with that. And now I'm done. I'm done questioning it. And even though he has twin command and he goes like this and that and he charges up the sword this side, he's still not really doing much. Like they're still beating him up. They take him out with a cool little like freaking gun double freaking out, and I'm like, all right, like there he's done. He got beat, and I was like, all right, like it wasn't a waste of time in the episode. Obviously, it served its purpose, showing that Michinaga's kind of like trying to do the right thing, but also giving us Baroba and Kakura's new forms, and like I said, explaining Daichi's tree of knowledge. One of the things I've been waiting for is the interaction between Keiwa and Neon because Sarah's gone. And we get some of the conversation, but then it kind of does a little skip where it's like, yeah, that's the promise you made and this and that. And I'm like, ah, man. And Keiwa starts talking about, getting his ideal world, and Ace shows up and he's like, why are you so grim? And I love this interaction between Ace and Keiwa because Ace basically obviously already figured out that Keiwa's using Sumari. He's trying to figure out where she is. But this attitude we get from Keiwa now, like from an acting standpoint alone, the body language, the facial expressions, the inflection in his voice when he's all up in Ace's face. And there's one line where he even says, he considers all this Ace's fault for not atoning for Mitsumi's, atoning in Mitsumi's place. And I'm like, ooh. And, Ace even says, you're no better than management. And, once again, we get more of what Kay was. He's like, you know what? He just wants to, he's just reclaiming what we lost to the DGP through the DGP. And I thought it was really cool that, like, Keiwa can just disappear using the buckle now. Like, that was kind of, like, I was like, the Bujin sword buckle can just make him disappear. And I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with this, because it is cool. Like, I like it. Like, in this whole entire time, Jito and Samas now have Sumari. And they explain her purpose of being the goddess, which we already know. This is something we have known and figured out and have been told, like, and I was like, all right. But my thing is, when we got flashbacks to Mitsume being turned into the goddess, she was surrounded by dudes in cloaks, but like this time Jito just with the vision driver just pushes the button on top and it starts the process. And I was like, all right, that's cool and all, but like I want more Keiwa stuff. And obviously one of the main showdowns that we got a preview for that I was hyped for was, what is Keiwa gonna do when he finally confronts Daichi? And I like this because now people in cloaks are showing up to see Daichi, and Keiwa's in disguise. And I love, one of the things I like about Daichi as a character is because he's a smug bastard, okay? And the way he goads Keiwa in by saying, Sarah's memories have contributed nothing to his overall knowledge and that she led a drab life and this is like setting Keiwa off. And I I didn't think we were gonna see like Keiwa really civilian fighting, but I love the attitude change even in his like when he's just not henshin fighting. Like he's very aggressive, and like I'm here for it. And like honestly, this form is so good. I mean, I'm not a fan of capes, but every time he does the henshin and cracking the finger, the form, how easily like you know he goes to fight Daichi, and we got an insert song, and I was like, it started off a little, but then I'm like, where's the guitar? And then we got a little guitar in there, and I was like, okay, this is a good insert song for the fight. And even Daichi is questioning Keiwa's new strength, and I'm like, yeah, this is it. And even Kakura's, watching, he's all happy, and and because he's like, now this is a form, hell yeah. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, yeah, it is. Like this is good, and this whole fight was really good because there was just like a subtle line where you know Daichi is asking Kakura to help, and Kakura is just like, "Why should I? You're the perfect victim for turning Keiwa into the real deal." And I was just like, "All right, all right." And then it's been a while. Like, when's the last time we got a proper rider kick finish? Because I'm trying to think. Like I think when we had right before when Geats Mark 9 got debuted, I think that's the last time we got a rider kick for like a finish in a fight. But this rider kick looked good. I was like, ooh, that's a damn good rider kick. Like that's one I was like, all right, I'm a sucker for a good rider kick finish. And even Daichi pleading with Keiwa after, because he's even saying they both got played by Kakura, and I feel like Keiwa hasn't came to that realization that Kakura has been kind of pulling the strings. Like Sarah would have never gotten in this position if he didn't trick her into joining the DGP and all this other stuff. And I'm looking forward to when that realization clicks in Keiwa's head, because we're gonna get Kakura and Keiwa fighting. I'm here for it. It's gonna be good. But right when I thought Keiwa was gonna take out Daichi, he shows up, makes the save with boost Mark 9 by using his tendrils to hold back Keiwa, which he breaks out of very, very easily. And this whole time, Jito's finishing this process of turning Sumire into the new goddess. And she starts glowing white and she starts like turning into a statue. Her hair's white, this and that. But then she starts thinking, having her flashbacks of being with Ace, and she's like, she wants to keep standing by Ace's side, and somehow she teleports her and, Jito away, and she's back where she was with Keiwa, but now she's in white with white hair and bright blue eyes, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm intrigued now. I mean, I don't know how I feel about the wig, and, Keiwa shows up with his DGP card, and basically he wants his wish, and she's forced to grant his wish of returning everyone who lost in the DGP. And I was like, okay, and we see, this person walking on a rooftop, and it's Keiwa in his new drip as he claims this is his world now. And I was like, ooh, this is a good episode. So good. Like the stride and everything else. And this episode, what, 42? And I'm like, all right, I am not talking about the preview for the next episode. I don't do that. I talk about what's presented to us as the episode itself, the meat and potatoes, so to speak. I don't know where this is. Like this is really good, and I didn't predict, because like way episodes ago for review, I was like, I always thought, like I said, and it's beating a dead horse. I thought Michinaga and Ace were gonna be like the protagonist and antagonist having a big final showdown, but now I'm like, good guy Keiwa in Ace. I was like, that I want to see like the most, because obviously before this arc or whatever's going on is over, obviously Keiwa's gonna take out Daichi. He's obviously gonna fight with Kakura. He's most likely gonna fight Buffa again, just because of the whole Sarah situation, and then obviously Ace. So I'm just like, these last 4 episodes have given Keiwa some good character growth. Yes, there are still some plot holes from seeds that were planted long ago that never were touched on, which, you know what? As of right now, I'm not focusing on that. I just need to see how this plays out before I start really getting on then like what I wish would have happened or what or plot holes that weren't resolved because the show's not over yet, so I'm waiting. But this was a good episode. I really enjoyed this episode. Let me know in the comments below what you thought. That's it for episode 42 of Geats. Like, this was so good. I really enjoyed this. I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.